My team and I, in cooperation with many artists from all over the world, publish a magazine called Polymer Week 3 times a year. This journey started a few years ago and has grown up into kind of a big project that aims to connect the polymer clay community together. Inside the magazine you will also find a step-by-step tutorial that I created specifically for this new issue. In this video, I would like to share a little behind the scenes of this project with you, and I'm gonna show you what it takes to create a polymer clay necklace like this. From the first idea to sketches, making patterns, beads and components, to the final touches and finishing a handmade piece of jewelry ready to be worn. At the beginning, I had a simple idea of pebbles with a pattern, connected together as a bigger necklace, more in the modern, contemporary style. First of all, I put some quick ideas down on the paper. I was trying to figure out the shapes and was also thinking about the main pattern that I would like to use for the necklace. After figuring out the shapes, I cut out some templates of the pebbles from a hard paper and also chose a color palette. By the way, these color samples that I created some time ago are a big help in moments like this. It is really good to see all those options and possibilities, and it saves some time while figuring out other things of the project. I sat down at the table and mixed colors from polymer clay according to the palette I chose. For this time I decided to work with my texture stamps that I designed for working specifically with polymer clay. Each set of stamps includes one positive and one negative stamp, which is great for different techniques. I chose the texture stamp with this motif that fits the colors I mixed really great, and I started to think about layers of polymer clay sheets that are necessary to prepare for a simple but very effective technique called mokumagain. I cut with a blade several small squares from every color and spent some time thinking about different possibilities of the technique that come with stacking layers of the polymer clay sheets in different order. After stacking layers of polymer clay sheets on each other and making them thinner in the clay machine, I had to impress the texture stamp into each prepared stack. For that I used the stamper tool, which makes things process really fast and effective. I don't need to spend hours by impressing the textures into the clay, and I always get the perfect imprint. After finishing making these patterns with mokumagain technique, I burnished the surface of each pattern sheet using baking paper to make it smooth and selected the best part of the pattern on every sheet. By placing the prepared template on the sheet, I could easily cut out the pebble shape using a sharp scalpel. I searched my boxes with different forms and molds that are possible to use with the clay and found these concave glass tiles. I placed all cut out pebbles on the glass tiles to obtain a slightly convex shape and baked them in the oven. When I was creating the composition of the necklace, I realized that I will have to add also single color pebbles to the necklace to create a more minimalistic style. I got an idea for using a lightweight clay that can be easily combined with polymer clay to get a bulging shape on the back of the pebbles. So after conditioning the lightweight clay and making the back of every pebble, it was time to bake them again. Then I let the baked pebbles slightly cool down and shaped the edges of the lightweight clay with a sharp blade. After that, I spent a lot of time sanding the backs and fronts of all pebbles. I wanted to create more different pebbles than I needed to have more options when assembling the final look of the necklace. I drew 2 lines on the paper symbolizing the 2 strings on which the pebbles would be hung and started playing with the composition. Honestly, there were so many options that I simply got lost. I decided firstly to make those 2 strings and took some black buna cords and thin wires to achieve a gentle look. I spent several hours wrapping the thin black wire along the entire length of the buna cord. I wanted to use 2 strong magnets that could make closing the necklace really simple and comfortable. For that I chose one oval pebble with added lightweight clay to its back and used Dremel to drill oval holes for placing the strings and magnets. I got back into the composition of the necklace and tried to place the most perfect pebbles in its place. After finishing all necessary components, it was about time to cover the backs of all pebbles with a thin sheet of black clay to make the necklace perfect also on the back. And finally, the last baking in the oven. Before assembling the necklace, I spent next hours by sanding all pebbles from each side with different sandpapers. For this project, I chose my favorite varnish that works more like a resin. I did several coats on every pebble and let it dry till the next day. By using a superglue and thin buna cord, I placed every pebble to its place on the string. Honestly, at that moment I could not believe that I did it. While creating the tutorial for this project, I had to think about every step, so the whole process was properly recorded and easily understood by magazine's readers. I took hundreds of photos using my camera and lights, and afterwards chose the main steps of the tutorial on my notebook, edited every photo and wrote the text of each step. I hope this video brought you some interesting information about designing polymer clay projects, but also about making step-by-step tutorials for other polymer clay enthusiasts. You will have a chance to follow the tutorial in the new magazine and create this necklace by yourself. Have a lovely day and thank you for watching.